Welcome to exclusive diaries for inspiring relationship stories that touch your heart. Subscribe to stay up to date with our latest content and join us on our journey of love and connection.
I cheated and regret it. Remorse, it happened 2 nights ago. I have been with my girlfriend for 5 years straight without one single fight, and we are very much in love, not one fight. But this night I was alone with friends and went out with them to a casual bar. One of my friend's sister was there, and I always thought she was cute, but it never even crossed my mind on cheating, and much less with her. Well, she started flirting, but I did not continue the flirt at first. We started drinking more, and one of my friends got really wasted, so we started the 30-minute walk home. In my drunken state, I wanted to continue the party and told everyone that we should go to a club that was nearby. Obviously no one cared to go, but her. She immediately responded yes, and we went to the club alone. From here things started to get out of control. I regret it all. If I could, I would take it all back, just continue walking home, nothing had to happen. But we went there and started to dance, closer and closer, we ended up kissing. I don't know what is wrong with me, I am the most disgusting human being on the planet. The worst part is how much I criticized men that did this, I am pathetic. We did not stay long and started to go back walking. At first we were silent and awkward, then I just could not resist and had to ask her if she knew that I had a girlfriend. She nodded, smiled and let a little evil yet cute laugh out. We talked about how no one must ever know. Ever. I told her how I felt and that all of this was not fair to her or to my girlfriend. She did not care. She wanted to go to my room. I was there again, taking a decision, and once again I failed. I am weak and I don't deserve to be loved by my girlfriend, and I caved. We went to my room and had passionate sex. I am dying just by remembering these thoughts. The worst part. I will never tell anyone. I will always regret in silence the biggest mistake of my life. Edit. Well, I told her. She of course got really upset, screamed, tears. After a long talk she calmed down, she asked if I regretted it and of course I said yes. We broke up. Some days passed and she told me that she wanted to talk. She said that we could work things out. I couldn't stand having this memory of such guilt that I told her I couldn't take her back. She deserves much better than me. Now I need time. Lots and lots of time. Next story. I cheated on my boyfriend. And I regret it. I'm not really sure where to begin. The first time I saw my boyfriend, I had no idea who he was. I saw a stranger walking down the sidewalk outside my house, and I remember thinking that is the most beautiful person I've ever seen. A year later, on my birthday, at a Ringo Starr concert, I got an Instagram notification on my phone from someone I knew I recognized. It was the person I saw on my street so many months before. To make this a little less unnecessarily long, we started texting back and forth, and there wasn't a single day that we didn't speak to each other. I always took pride in our love story, and it's still one of my favorite stories to tell. This story is the reason I wholeheartedly believe in love at first sight. After months of messaging back and forth every single day, we decided to finally meet. Our first date was magical. As cheesy as it may sound, the chemistry between us was unreal. We were both really shy and reserved people at the time, but we just bounced off of each other in a way that I had never found in anyone else. We went on many more dates after the successful first, and we fell very hard in love with each other. I met his family and he met mine. Things got pretty serious between us. We even stayed together through the pandemic. We weren't able to see each other, but still found ways to make it work. It's hard to put the gravity of an entire relationship with another person into words. I don't know how I'm supposed to even describe it in a way for someone that's reading this to understand. A little backstory on me is that I am what I like to refer to as damaged goods. I had a very unique upbringing with some pretty significantly traumatic experiences to top it all off. This is not an excuse, and I try not to use it as one, but I do have a history of self-sabotaging and horrible, impulsive, destructive decisions. I was really young when my relationship with this person started, as was he, and neither of us really had any type of experience being in a relationship before. I'd like to hope that a lot of what happened can be attributed to the fact that I was so young and immature, and not that I am just potentially a really horrible person with a major lack of empathy. As good as this relationship started, it took a turn for the worst just as quickly. We were together for around a year and a half when our problems started. I started developing some issues with jealousy, as young girls often do, but the way I approached these issues were all wrong, and I put this poor young boy through what all I can describe as pure hell. I won't go into details, but there were things said that caused some pretty irreversible damage. But even through our hardships, he stuck by me. He tried his best not to let his friends or family see how bad we had gotten together. He took care of me and begged me to get help, even offering to be part of my healing process. He was the most thoughtful, caring, selfless person I had ever met. He understood my struggles with my past and showed me a love I had never seen before. As time went on, my reactions to small situations became gradually worse and more hurtful. He started to build up a resentment towards me, and instead of acknowledging this being a consequence of my actions at the time, I convinced myself that he must have simply fallen out of love with me. I was so delusional I could not fathom holding myself accountable for anything I did or said. He never explicitly told me that this was the reason he started acting different, at least not until after we had broken up. Sometimes I wish he would have told me sooner, but with the way I was acting, I really don't know if it would have changed anything. He had begged me to change so many times before, and I just didn't have the emotional intelligence to do it. During the time that he was building this resentment towards me, I didn't see him for a while. I barely heard from him. I knew something had changed, but I wasn't sure why. During this time, I did something that I never would have imagined myself doing. I still don't know why I did it. I started becoming closer with a male friend of mine, who I knew had feelings for me. I never intended for it to go anywhere. But as time went on, I was hearing from my boyfriend less and hearing from this friend of mine more. Eventually, I made plans with this friend to meet up. We partook in a bit of leafy recreational substance, and he kissed me. I didn't stop him. I broke up with my boyfriend that night, but didn't really explain to him why. I was his first girlfriend. He was so visibly heartbroken. Not just in this one instance, but for all the pain I had put him through only to lead up to this. I apologize for the length of this post and for any unnecessary details. I've never spoken a word of this to anyone outside of our relationship. This all happened nearly a year ago now, and trust me when I say a lot has happened since then, including a temporary restraining order between boyfriend and I. But we are finally back in contact with each other. I guess the advice I'm looking for is how to gain his trust back after all the pain I put him through. He has always been an extremely anxious person and reasonably still has doubts about my character. I do feel that I've changed, at least in some of the ways that matter. When I look back on this situation, I feel genuine heartbreak on his behalf. How do I deal with the guilt of knowing I put a person through so much pain, especially a person that cared for and loved me so deeply? The grief has sent me into a depressive episode that I can't seem to escape. I know that he still harbors resentment for me, and yet I still have intense feelings for him. We dated for 3 years. Thank you from the bottom of my heart if you took the time to read this. I needed to get it off my chest. Any advice on my situation is welcome with open arms, even if I might not like hearing it.